MAINS 2022, co-powered by Praj Industries along with IISER Pune. Mimamsa is a national-level inter-college annual science challenge hosted by IISER Pune with the motto, Be Inquisitive, where the conceptual knowledge of our participants is put to the test and mere trivia is not enough to stay afloat. Started in 2009, Mimamsa furthers the belief that questions in science do not demand correct answers. They require original thinking. This year marks the 14th edition of Mimamsa, and the growth we have seen over the past few years has been incredible. However, all of what Team Mimamsa 2022 did culminates over the span of the next 2 days. We hope that you're prepared for the thrilling ride that this weekend is guaranteed to be, with 4 finalists, 3 rounds, 2 days, but only 1 winner by the end of it. We have put in all that we could muster and left no stone unturned to ensure that this MAINS event, which is finally outside the digital screen after 2 long years, is not only a true celebration of scientific concepts, but is also exhilarating and fun. Team Mimamsa is extremely grateful to have multiple distinguished dignitaries amongst us. I request the team to present a small token of our appreciation to the guests. We have amongst us Mr. Shishir Joshipura, the CEO and MD of Praj Industries, as our chief guest for the day. As our esteemed guests, we are grateful to have Dr. Girish Ratnaparkhi, Dean of Academics, IISER Pune, Dr. Ravindra Utkekar, Vice President of Corporate Strategy and Marketing at Praj Industries, Mr. Ghanshyam Deshpande, President of Technology and Engineering at Praj Industries, Dr. M.S. Madhusudan, Associate Professor of Biology at IISER Pune and the Faculty Coordinator, Mr. Sachin Raude, Chief Financial Officer and Board Member, Dr. Nidhi Dhanju, Chief Human Resources Officer, Mr. Atul Mune, President of Bioenergy, along with Mr. Sandeep, Dr. Anand, and Mr. Sandeep. Now, to start the event with sweet melodies, we have our own music club, Aroha, bringing us 3 beautiful pieces that are sure to uplift our spirits. First, we have a musical medley of 3 beautiful Bollywood songs from different eras, Piya To Se Naina Lage Re, Moh Moh Ke Dhage, and Abhi Na Jao Chhodkar, by Sukanya Chakraborty on vocals and Ayan Biswas on guitar and accompanying vocals.
रात को जब चाँद चमके जल उठे तन मेरा, मैं कहूँ मत करो चंदा इस गली का फेरा। हाँ हाँ हो, रात को जब चाँद चमके जल उठे तन मेरा, मैं कहूँ मत करो चंदा इस गली का फेरा। आना मोरा सैया जब आए, चमकना उस रात को जब मिलेंगे तन मन पिया तो से, पिया चुना।
तू होगा जरा पागल, तूने मुझको है चुना।
कैसे तूने अनकहा सब सुना। तू होगा जरा पागल, तूने मुझको है चुना। तू दिन सा है मैं रात, आना दोनों मिल जाए शामों की तरह। ये मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे। कोई टोह ना लागे, किस तरह गिरहा ये सुलझे। है रोम रोम एक तारा, है रोम रोम एक तारा, जो बादलों में से गुजरे। ये मोह के धागे तेरी उंगलियों से जा उलझे। कोई टोह ना लागे, किस तरह गिरहा ये सुलझे। अभी अभी तो आए हो, अभी अभी तो, अभी अभी तो आए हो। बाहर बन के छाए हो। हवा जरा महक तो ले, नजर जरा महक तो ले। ये शाम ढल तो ले जरा, ये शाम ढल तो ले जरा। ये दिल संभल तो ले जरा। मैं थोड़ी देर जी तो लूं, नशे की घूंट पी तो लूं, नशे की घूंट पी तो लूं। अभी तो कुछ कहा नहीं, अभी तो कुछ सुना नहीं। बुरा ना मानो बात का कि प्यार है गिला नहीं। अभी ना जाओ छोड़ कर कि दिल अभी भरा नहीं। अभी ना जाओ छोड़ कर। थैंक यू।
We definitely could not have asked for a better start to our inauguration ceremony. Thank you, Sukanya Nayan, for that particularly soothing performance. Now, we have a rejuvenating performance, which is particularly special to me because it's a rendition of the other famous song that helped make my hometown of Bareilly popular, Kajra Mohabbat Wala, by Mugna Thatte on vocals and Srihar Kanekar playing the tabla. Let's welcome them with a huge round of applause.
कजरा मोहब्बत वाला अखियों में सा डाला, कजरे ने ले ली मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, दुनिया है मेरे पीछे लेकिन मैं तेरे पीछे, अपना बना ले मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, कजरा मोहब्बत वाला अखियों में सा डाला, कजरे ने ले ली मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान। आई हो कहाँ से गोरी आँखों में प्यार लेके, चढ़ती जवानी की ये पहली बहार लेके, दिल्ली शहर का सारा मीना बाजार लेके, दिल्ली शहर का सारा मीना बाजार लेके, झुमका बरेली वाला कानों में सा डाला, झुमके ने ले ली मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, कजरा मोहब्बत वाला अखियों में सा डाला, कजरे ने ले ली मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान। मोटर ना बंगला मांगू, झुमका न हार मांगू, दिल को जलाने वाले दिल का करार मांगू, सैया बेदर्दी मेरे थोड़ा सा प्यार मांगू, सैया बेदर्दी मेरे थोड़ा सा प्यार मांगू, किस्मत बना दे मेरी, दुनिया बसा दे मेरी, कर ले सगाई मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, कजरा मोहब्बत वाला अखियों में सा डाला, कजरे ने ले ली मेरी जान। हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान, हाय रे मैं तेरे कुर्बान।
That was truly spectacular. Thanks to Mugdha and Srihar, all of us seem to have been successfully energized. Now, to bring this delightful symphony to a full circle, we have Sushruth Gaikwad on the piano, presenting an interpretation of Nocturne in E flat major, Opus 9, number 2, by Frédéric Chopin. The stage is all yours, Sushruth. What a wonderful piece. Thank you, Sushruth. Before we go any further into the ceremony, I would take this chance to introduce the man who puts the quiz in Mimamsa's inquisitive, Dr. Madhusudan, Mimamsa's faculty coordinator and a constant source of support. Dr. Madhusudan is an associate professor of biology here at IISER Pune. His research focuses on developing computational methods by combining physics, statistics, and experimental observations so as to model the three-dimensional structures of proteins as well as intermolecular interactions. He has been spearheading Mimamsa from 2018 and has been truly instrumental in the crossing of many barriers. I would request Dr. Madhusudan to take the stage and give the welcome address.
Krish, thank you for those words. There was one thing he got wrong. I have not been spearheading Mimamsa. Mimamsa, you should all know, is completely conceived, executed, driven by the students of IISER Pune. I am only a liaison with the administration at best. So a very warm welcome to everyone, especially to the four teams, IISc Bangalore, IIT Madras, IIT Roorkee, and IISER Kolkata. Congratulations on making it this far. This is a significant achievement, and I hope in the next couple of days you are challenged and you have fun. And hopefully, some good science will emerge from this. The 2022 edition of Mimamsa, as Krish pointed out, is the 14th edition. Every Mimamsa, right from the first one, has seen increasing number of participants. This 2022 edition had over 1,000 teams participating, and I wish Dr. Chowdhury were here. This one number would interest him, which is that of all the participants, 44% this time were girls. He was insistent on knowing, what the participation was, so that's the number. Because of the pandemic, this 2022 edition is the first time we are having the finals in person, live, for the last 3 editions. It also means that this is the first time that the Praj sponsored event has a live final. Needless to say, a lot of work has gone into making of this Mimamsa. And I think that, obviously we'll thank the teams later, but we should acknowledge the fact that the GCs, Aniket, Lokesh, Aditya, Saransh, and Oindrila have, along with their teams, put a lot of effort into making this happen. And because we didn't have the opportunity to say this earlier, this is actually continuation of work for which the ground rules were laid about how to perform during the pandemic by the previous year's GCs, who are also here, Arvind Akshan and Harshit Pateria. I mentioned Dr. Chowdhury earlier. He is the founder of Praj Industries, who I'm very happy to say are our sponsors for this event. I have just come back from quite an exhilarating tour of Praj Matrix. I say this to all of you. You should visit this place. I don't know how, butter Dr. Udkikar over here, if necessary, but make this happen. It is, I think, truly inspirational, And I hope that my visit here was the first of many. I hope I'm not imposing myself here. And I think what Praj did for Mimamsa, unfortunately, didn't come to fruition for the first 2 years of the sponsorship because of this pandemic. But Mimamsa is a much larger event, in no small measure because of Praj Industries. And one hopes that we will continue on this path in the years to come and make Mimamsa bigger and more ambitious in its scale and reach. And finally, usually the people who do most of the running around and the organization for Mimamsa are first-year students. But again, I have to blame COVID over here, that they have come in only very recently to campus. So I invite all the first years to soak Mimamsa in, so that you will be the ones who will drive Mimamsa in the years to come. So a very warm welcome to one and all again, and I hope you really enjoy the 2 days of science competition ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, sir. Team Mimamsa is proud to have an extremely distinguished personality and a very well-known face at IISER sitting in the audience. The Dean of Academics at IISER Pune, Dr. Girish Ratnaparkhi, completed his PhD from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and went on to do his postdoctoral research at University of Carolina, Los Angeles. He's also an associate professor in the biology department here. His research involves monitoring the regulation of signaling mechanisms in the context of cellular development and their misregulation in diseases. The GR Lab focuses on using Drosophila as a model organism to understand the molecular pathways underlying development and disease. Sir, I thank you for gracing the event with your presence and request that you say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. A few minutes ago, my friend Madhusudan took my speech from me and wouldn't explain why. And the very nice speech you heard him give was actually mine. So now I really don't have much to say. But again, on behalf of IISER, I follow my colleague Madhu, who's a friend of long standing, to welcome all of you to Mimamsa. Especially welcome all our dignitaries from Praj Industries. It's really nice to see you out in strength over here and supporting these young students in their endeavors. The nice parts of the speech were mine, so I'll just cut my speech short. I'll just congratulate all the finalists who have made it so far. I am behind the IISc team for the simple reason that I'm from IISc. Apologies to the IISER Pune team. Is there an IISER Pune team? Okay. I'm safe. Organizers are not supposed to? Okay, no, I get it. So my best wishes to everybody, and may the games begin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Praj Industries Limited is one of the most successful companies in India in the field of bio-based technologies and engineering, with the goal of making the world a better place. Headquartered in Pune, Praj has been an unchanging partner of Mimamsa, IISER Pune, since 2020. We are lucky to have as a chief guest Mr. Shishir Joshipura, the CEO and MD of Praj. Named as one of the most valuable CEOs of India by Business World magazine in the year 2013, Mr. Joshipura began his journey with a degree in mechanical engineering from BITS Pilani. He went on to study business management from Harvard Business School and has held highly reputed management positions ever since. His prior experience includes business management at CEO level for Indian subsidiaries of industrial and automotive companies, and as the business head for companies dealing in energy and environmental solutions. Mr. Joshipura has helmed Praj Industries as its CEO and MD since 2018. He also chaired the subcommittee on environmental sustainability of the Confederation of Indian Industry, Western Region, for the year 2019 and 20. I would request Mr. Joshipura to give the keynote address in today's inauguration ceremony. The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you and good evening. That was a very heavily loaded introduction. So I was telling Ravindra that I was not aware that all this stuff is written out there. Okay. So good evening. Very happy to be here. There is no other way I will be nicer. I was telling the organizing committee it would be impossible for me to get admission here. So the only way I could be here today on this podium and taking the liberty of speaking to all of you is because my company provided this occasion. So. Very interesting times. It was a great conversation with the team earlier in the cafeteria. You call it guest house, right? Very interesting time because I would like to believe that with the exception of the front row, more or less, none of you were born in the last century, right? You're all products of this century, more or less. And if we look at it from that perspective, you are going to encounter some very interesting times. The world, as I see it, is in a phase of transition. And what are the transitions, some of the key transitions that I see happening? The first, of course, is at the global level. And we don't sort of recognize it because the press wouldn't let us believe so. There is a big push transition that's happening of people getting lifted out of their poverty. There's a mass, millions of people that are actually stepping away from the poverty line. That's a very good sign for humanity. It's very painful. There is still a large number of people who are still below the poverty line. So a big transition from poverty to not so poor, above the poverty line, one transition. The other transition, and this is differentiated transition across the different countries. India is seeing a transition to a much younger population. So the average age of this country is actually coming down. That's not true for many of the advanced countries where it's the other way around, when the average age of the citizens is going up. They are not getting younger, they are getting older. So that's another transition that is taking place in demographics. I can keep talking about transition. The third important transition that is taking place is the transition of energy, a very, very important dimension to our living. Over the period of time, we come to accept so many things as taken for granted that we believe that, oh, is that an energy thing? I never realized it, right? But the movement, the light, the mic, you can't imagine your life without energy, isn't it? So a big transition is taking place in the way we produce and consume our energy. And from that perspective, I think you guys are at a very, very interesting space. Of all the students that I talked with, everybody's saying, yeah, you know what, I started out as biology, and then I'm transitioning to chemistry, and maybe I'll end up with mathematics, and a varied combination of these sciences. And that was very heartening because what we are also experiencing in the industry is a lot of innovation is taking place at the intersection of these various streams. No longer the innovation is taking place on a unified stream. So a famous question that I always put up is, so who do you think is a car designer today? Is it a mechanical engineer, an automotive engineer, a computer chips guy? Who would you define to be a car or an automobile engineer today? It's very difficult to say because the four wheels in the internal combustion engine and the steering and 3 in front and 2 in back, or a various combination of that has stayed the same from the day the first car was invented. It's not changed. And yet, advertisements are there every day. Newspapers are full of them. Times of India takes out special pages now. to show you what the new car looks like. It still has the 4 wheels and an IC engine and a steering wheel, 2 in front, 3 in back. And yet there's a whole host of other stuff, right? Panoramic sunroof and this 6-speed, this. So there was a time when music systems became the thing. And when you run out of ideas, then you start advertising that I've got a green color phone now, so go and buy that one. So a lot of changes are expected in the way we move. The human mobility is set to change in a very, very significant way. And that's where Praj is trying to play a very significant role. We strongly believe, and I was asking this question, probably the first question when I walked into the guest house was around saying, one of your organizing committee members told me that, we are trying to protect future of our children. That was very heartening for us to hear from a 20-year-old. And that's exactly what we've been trying to do since 1983, to tell the world that there's a better way of living. It's very difficult because on one hand, you're trying to say a very different way of living. On the other hand, it's very easy because we are not trying to change anybody's lifestyle. And that's a big change, right? If I tell you don't use your car but go by metro, then that's a change in lifestyle. But if I'm telling you that use the same car, just use a different fuel, it's not changing your lifestyle, and therefore that change is very easily adaptable. As the globe moves from high carbon to low carbon to a no carbon economy, we are actually looking forward to some very exciting time in the way we will produce and consume our energy. Okay, electric cars are the new mantras for everybody, notwithstanding the fires that the scooters are catching, but nonetheless. What's important for us to understand is that every technology has a context in which it becomes usable. Ravindra has prepared a very nice note, which actually gave me, and that runs into a 10-page speech. So fortunately for you, I sort of forgotten it in my car, right? So that's the good news. We have to understand in what context are we going to operate, and I think that's the invitation I give to each and every one of you, the younger guys, the young minds, that whenever you do an innovation or a development, please think about the context in which it will be put to use. We have seen so many of inventions biting dust or not seeing the light at the end of the day because the context was missed, right? There's no point in inventing a refrigerator if I'm living in Alaska. It doesn't work. It's a nice product. It has no market. And it's very important for the good of the humanity, to build on the answer that I got from the 20-year-old that I'm trying to protect future of my children. Please focus on innovation that is contextual. You definitely represent the brightest minds this country has at your age group. And lots of hopes rest on what you will think and do, not only think. Think and do, and that's the important part. What you learn here in this place, working with each other, and to me, I think this comes as a big surprise to us, and I must compliment the whole system for creating this, was the fact that got shared that everything here is around working as a team, and there's hardly an individual factor, which is what our education system actually chooses to produce till junior college level. So big focus on teamwork and collaboration. And I think that's a very, if you just keep that two things with you, your tech knowledge will come and will stay with you, but these two elements of working together as a team and working in a collaborative fashion, leveraging each other's strength, is something that is for which corporations die, right? A lot of our time gets spent in telling people how to work collaboratively, right? Training programs and whatnot. And this is something that you have here. Keep it with you. Don't lose it. This will come very, very handy when you go out in your career. Good. So as we move along the path of transition, it's very important that and that's the second question that I answered to a smaller group. So what's the most important agenda for the industry today? And I said, amongst many other things, getting innovation right on the top is the agenda for practically everybody, and innovation everywhere, not only around a new product or a new process or a new technology, but innovation everywhere in what we do. And in many senses, you guys are at the cusp of that wave that's about to start traveling and gather its mass and momentum as it moves along. And I'm sure that many of you will contribute in a very, very great way. At Praj, we are very, very happy. Somebody was asking me, why are you sponsoring Mimamsa? What's in it for you? Do you get students from ISER to come and work with you? We haven't seen that yet. But maybe after today's visit, some minds will change, right? So that's not happening. So why are you doing it? There is no business angle for you. We strongly believe that one of the goals for our company is definitely to make profit, but we also want to know what use or we put this profit to. It's very critical to our being. And we believe that this is one such drop in the ocean where we believe that associating with future of the country, of minds of science, of encouraging you to not only find the answers but explore even more is our contribution to making a better world. That's what Mimamsa represents to us as a company. And we are committed to do this. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be here on this dais. It's been the 30-odd minutes that I spent speaking to students is refreshing enough to last me for 1 year. Thank you so much, guys. And all the best.
Thank you for your truly enlightening words, sir. And with that, ISER Pune and Praj presents Mimamsa Mains 2022 is finally open. Now, the time has come for us to meet the gladiators of the tournament of mains. They have braved the challenges we put in front of them in the preliminary round and now stand at the edge of the mains Colosseum. I would request you to come up on the stage and let everyone know our finalists as I take your name. Our finalists in alphabetical order are from IISc Bangalore, Anmol, Anurag Chittawar, Krishna S. Bharadwaj, and Srinab Agrawal. Please come up on the stage. From ISER Kolkata, Shayan Datta, Soham Gupta, Shoreen Chatterjee, and Shubhajit Chakraborty. From IIT Madras, Ayman Akhtar, Niharika Balasubramanian, Snehadeep Gayan, and Yashwant Narayana. And from IIT Roorkee, Ahmed Rocky Sekia, Bivas Talukdar, Chirag Sridhar, and Kunal Sharma. Can we get a round of applause for our finalists? We wish you all the best and hope that the best team wins. Photos. This year, Team Mimamsa also started a new initiative, having campus coordinators from all across the country and make people aware, even from remote areas, of what an opportunity Mimamsa is. To acknowledge their great efforts, 4 of our campus coordinators have also been invited to ISER for the weekend. I'm not sure if any of them are present here, if they have been able to arrive, but they are Aditya Sheth, BITS Pilani, Saumilya Mishra, MSU Baroda, Vishwas Ranjan from UMCEBS Mumbai, and Sanskar Agrawal from ISER Tirupati. We acknowledge their hard work and all the efforts they put in to make Mimamsa known across their campuses. You can take your seats. Thank you. And with that, we have reached the conclusion of the inauguration ceremony. I thank all of you for joining us this evening to start ISER Pune and Praj Presents Mimamsa Mains 2022 with such zest and zeal. We will now see you all tomorrow when we finally start the much-awaited science-filled revelries of the competition. Good evening, and thank you once again for your presence.